The day my husband left me, he didn't walk out with heartbreak. He walked out with a calculator. That's the sentence I always use when people ask how my marriage ended. Because my husband, Daniel, didn't break my heart. He broke my trust, my dreams, and worst of all, he tried to break my life. My name is Evelyn, a 42-year-old accountant from Denver. I had spent 15 years building a strong career, climbing step by step from a junior analyst to the head of my department. Meanwhile, my husband Daniel drifted from job to job, barista one month, gym trainer the next, sometimes unemployed for weeks. I never complained. I believed marriage meant partnership. One lifts the other when they fall. But instead of feeling grateful, Daniel began to feel entitled. For years, I paid the bills. I paid for his hobbies. I paid for his dreams that changed every 2 months. And every time he failed, I encouraged him, told him he had potential, told him things would get better. But the one thing I never saw coming was the affair. It started with small signs, late-night texts, gym sessions that lasted too long, a sudden interest in buying new shirts. I brushed them aside, blaming stress, blaming myself, blaming anything except the man who slept beside me. Then one evening, when I was returning home early from a work event, I heard his voice from inside our bedroom. Laughter, whispers, the unmistakable sound of someone else in our bed. The woman he brought home wasn't beautiful, she wasn't young, but she was something he thought he deserved more than me, a constant admirer. I walked out without screaming, without crying, without throwing anything. I simply said, "Daniel, be ready. Our marriage ends tonight." He looked at me with no guilt, just annoyance. "How dramatic can you be, Evelyn? You'll calm down." But he was wrong. I didn't calm down. I lawyered up. And that's when I discovered something far worse than the affair. Daniel, the man who hadn't worked properly in years, thought he was entitled to alimony. Not just a little. No, he asked for $3,000 a month, indefinitely. "Evelyn can afford it," he said confidently, sitting across from me in the attorney's office. His attorney smirked, Daniel smirked, and I sat there realizing just how deep his greed ran. That day, I made myself a promise. If he wanted to live off of me, he would regret it for the rest of his life. And trust me, he did.
The court hearings were long, humiliating, and painful. Daniel portrayed himself as a helpless, dependent, emotionally fragile man, someone who gave up career opportunities for the sake of supporting the marriage. Lies, of course, but his performance could win an Oscar. He exaggerated injuries. He cried during hearings. He claimed I was emotionally controlling. And the judge, trying to remain neutral, started leaning in his direction. It was a nightmare. My attorney warned me, "Evelyn, if we push too hard, the court might still award temporary alimony. He's playing the sympathy card well." So I did something unexpected. I agreed to temporary alimony. Only for 6 months, only until he found work, only with strict conditions. Daniel was thrilled. He hugged his attorney and said, "I knew she'd give in eventually." He thought he beat me. He thought I'd suffer. He thought he'd sit back, relax, and enjoy my money. But what Daniel didn't know was that I was building something behind the scenes, something he could never predict, something that would shake his world. While he spent his days posting gym selfies, hanging out with friends, and trying to look like a single alpha male, I spent my evenings gathering documents, screenshots, emails, job histories, tax records, everything. My plan had 3 phases. 1, let him relax, because relaxed people become sloppy. 2, watch him make mistakes, and believe me, he made plenty. 3. Strike at the perfect moment. A moment that would not just stop his greed, but expose his lies. But fate decided to speed things up, because one day, completely by accident, I discovered something that turned my plan into pure gold.
2 months after our temporary alimony agreement, a friend of mine from the DMV reached out. "Evelyn, I think you should see this." She sent me a photo. It was Daniel, smiling, standing next to a brand new motorcycle. The registration papers clearly listed his name. A $16,000 motorcycle, bought cash, while he was claiming in court that he had no money and no job opportunities. I checked his social media, private, but his girlfriend? Wide open. She posted everything: the bike, their weekend trips, expensive dinners, hotel stays. He wasn't struggling. He wasn't broke. He wasn't dependent. He was living his best life on my alimony. And then it got even better. A week later, his gym posted a promotional video on Instagram. A new trainer had joined their team. You guessed it, Daniel. He had been working full-time for nearly a month, secretly, illegally, and not reporting income to the court. He was earning well over the threshold that would terminate his alimony. And I had proof. Lots of proof. I printed everything. Every picture, every screenshot, every post. Then I sent it anonymously to the court and his attorney. The fallout was immediate. The judge ordered a mandatory hearing. Daniel panicked. He tried deleting posts. He tried shutting down accounts. He tried contacting me, begging to talk privately. But I wasn't interested in talking. The judge's words were music to my ears. "Mr. Daniel Carter, based on this evidence, it appears you misled this court. Not only have you been working full-time, but you have purchased luxury items while claiming financial hardship. This is grounds for termination of alimony and potential penalties." Daniel's face went pale. His voice cracked. He tried blaming his girlfriend, the gym, stress, anything he could think of. Nothing worked. The judge terminated his alimony, effective immediately. But the real blow? Daniel was ordered to repay the money he had already taken from me. It was over. Or so he thought. Because my revenge wasn't finished. Not yet. Losing alimony broke Daniel financially, but losing his reputation, that broke his soul. His gym fired him after learning about the legal mess. His girlfriend left him when she realized he wasn't the rich man he pretended to be. But my revenge wasn't about destroying him. It was about reclaiming myself. And ironically, Daniel himself handed me the final piece of the puzzle. One day, his sister called me, apologizing for his behavior. During the call, she mentioned casually, "You know he's been telling everyone that you cheated on him, right? That's why he's saying he deserved the money." I froze. He wasn't just lying in court. He was ruining my name publicly. So I decided to clear the record permanently. I posted a detailed, calm, fact-based message on my social media. No insults, no anger, just truth. I shared the documents showing he hadn't worked for years, proof of his affair, evidence of his false financial claims, proof he bought luxury items with alimony, and the court's official ruling against him. I blurred private information, kept it clean, professional, but powerful. The post went viral. People who once believed his stories apologized. Some who once praised him now saw the truth. His own family confronted him. His friends abandoned him. His community mocked him. He called me, crying, begging, screaming, threatening, then begging again.
But I had nothing more to say. My revenge was complete, not because he suffered, but because I finally felt free.
After the divorce, I moved into a small but beautiful apartment with a balcony overlooking the mountains. I planted herbs, decorated the rooms with warm colors, and played soft music every evening. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. I focused on my career, took a promotion, and traveled to places I always dreamed of: Greece, Italy, Iceland. I laughed again. I cooked for myself. I slept peacefully. I rediscovered who I was before stress and betrayal took over. And Daniel? He spiraled. When he failed to repay the court-ordered money, a lien was placed on his motorcycle. It was seized and auctioned. He bounced between temporary jobs, none lasting long. People avoided him due to his reputation for lying to the court. Every time he saw me, in the grocery store, at the mall, once in a parking lot, he looked away. He couldn't face the woman he underestimated. 6 months later, he sent me one final message. "I thought I could use you forever, but you were smarter, stronger, and braver than I ever knew. I'm sorry." I didn't reply, not out of anger, but because I no longer needed anything from him. Not apologies, not closure, nothing. My story was complete. My life was peaceful. My heart was whole. And if someone ever asks me what I learned from this entire journey, I simply say, never mistake a quiet woman for a weak one, because when she finally stands up, the world shakes.